Hello and welcome back to Josh Oddie YouTube. Today I've got a pretty exciting video for you all, and it's my second tournament back out on the Clutch Pro Tour. So luckily this week I had a couple of juniors from the club, Ernie and Henry, message me asking if they could come out, watch, and they filmed a little bit out there for me as well. So I've got some practice round footage and some tournament footage, which is insane. Big shout out to the boys for walking around and supporting, and each and every single one of you at home watching the channel, liking, commenting, subscribing. I appreciate all of you, and it helps me do what I want to do. So yeah, love to you all. So first up, I'm going to show you some practice round footage, and hopefully you can see what I mean about the course. It's very exposed on top of a hill, and basically any little bit of wind up there will hit you hard. Considering you're so high up and you're so exposed, any bit of wind is just huge up there. So that was one thing going into the rounds, and especially in the practice round, I noticed that even on putts, the wind would be going left to right on a right to left putt, and you would almost feel like that wind was holding the ball against the brakes. So, there was a lot to factor in, and certainly on these courses, you've really got to take note of how much that wind is affecting the ball, because, when you get into tournament play, you now need to adjust to certain shots, and wind blowing out the left, how hard is that going to affect my ball? How far left do I need to start it? And we'll talk a little bit about a few of the bad shots out there, and hopefully you can understand maybe from the commitment side from me, just isn't quite there yet, but we're building confidence and trying to get back to where I want to get to. So here's some practice round footage, and then we go straight into round one. It's quite early. It feels a lot earlier than what it is, because last night I stayed up until about 2:30 watching the Masters. Just couldn't really shut off after Rory getting the big dub. That was pretty big last night, and it was very inspirational. So today, I mean, nothing like Augusta. We're going to a golf course called Ogbourne Downs. We've got a practice round today, tournament round tomorrow, and then another one on Wednesday. So 36-hole tournament. Hopefully we can have 2 good rounds and build some confidence going into Morocco the following week. And I've got 2 tournaments out there. And then we get back and we begin the English swing of Tier 1 on Clutch. So hopefully we can just keep building. Last week I was level par for 36 holes and didn't really feel like I got out of second gear with the long game. The putter felt really good, and I was kind of proud of myself to grind it around in that number. I think I finished 25th out of 140 plus, last week. So could have been a lot worse, but also, 3 shots better, and I think I was squeezing in top 10. So it was very, very bunched at the top there. But hopefully we can have a good week this week. I'm going to kind of vlog and hopefully film as much as I can. I've got some young lads that have messaged me on Instagram already saying, do you need us to film or anything? So should be able to get some tournament footage for you all. And if you're new, subscribe, like the video already, because this one's hopefully going to be a banger. Or if not, it might be 2 shockers, we don't know. But yeah, let's just go to Ogbourne, see if we can have a good couple of rounds and build some confidence going into Morocco. So yeah, just waiting for the ferry, and off to Ogbourne Downs. Okay, so here we go, practice round footage, and this straight away is the first hole. You can see a lot of elevation. The wind just absolutely ripping through this place, and this course was kind of gettable from off the tee. It was quite wide, but you just had to miss it in the correct spots. So leaving it the right side of flags and making sure you got the good line in and stuff. So shot 2 here was super hard. You can see just the elevation changes, and if you missed the green there, it was rolling back probably 30-40 yards. So you really had to hit your numbers and make sure your targets were very, very clear. Just hitting a few chip shots here. You can see that ball rolling back to my feet. So this tee shot here, you can see the ball started way left, but wind was howling out the left, and I think that's just the readjustment for the wind. And like I said, you know, you've really got to be clear of your target and commit to that swing, because otherwise you start pulling across your body and, you know, fighting the wind. So this one here, almost starting at 30 yards left of the flagstick, ended up to be a fantastic shot, but you know, you've really got to be committed to your target. So chip in round the green, trying to get some run out numbers, how far is the ball releasing, you know, etc. So yeah, tee shot here on hole 5, I believe. Just trying to, like I say, get that committed golf swing and picking out clear targets, so that when the tournament comes around, you've got a clear vision of, you know, what you need to do. See how much that putt's swinging, a little bit of wind there. Few gettable par 4s, so that was a freewood to greenside, but like I say, you've got to be the right side of the flag, and the wind moving that chip shot 30 yards left to right in the air. It's yeah, you can just see how much this ball is getting affected out here. But yeah, it was a good practice round, learnt a lot, and felt like I was pretty ready for round number 1. So here we go, round number 1, Clutch Pro Tour, starting on hole 10. It was a par 5, 530 yards, and you can hear early morning, not a lot of breeze. Let's get out there and make some birdies. Beautiful drive, just found the right semi-rough, and I had like 250s to the green. Just didn't really fancy it, so 6 iron here to lay up, leave myself a nice number in. Really good shot in the fairway, and left me 77 yards to the flag. Little sandwich here, had a back slope behind the flag. Check that flag out. Zonk in there tight. Left me a nice little 2.5 footer. Beautifully done. And then hole 11 was my second hole. Driver up the right hand side, left me an 11 footer for birdie again. So second tournament back, we start with 3 birdies in a row. Come on! So 3 birdies in a row, I was 3 under par, and just leaked a 3 iron into the right rough and left me way too far into this green. I had almost 200 yards into that par 4 and a really awkward stance in the bunker, but a very nicely played bunker shot, just a 10 feet, didn't hole it unfortunately. Went back to 2 under, and par 5, next hole, 14th, really dodgy pin, and I'm trying to be really disciplined to Scott Fawcett's Tiger 5, or Tiger's Tiger 5, and you know, no bogeys on par 5. So when I see a dodgy flag, or you know, a tough par 5, I just don't want to make a mistake, and this was a prime example of that par 5. You know, it was danger off the tee, danger into the green, and you know, it was just one of them holes that if you give yourself a chance at birdie, it was a bonus. So par 3 next hole, 200 yards, and I think this was actually playing more like 220. I hit a 6 iron, it was slightly downwind, beautiful shot in there to 18 feet, and a very good chance at birdie. So implementing Jamie's stroke technique behind the ball just to try and fill the speed, and my speed was actually pretty good. A little bit pacey early on, but I was just surprised at how quick the greens were. Really tough shot here from below the green, just releasing on a little bit too much. I almost needed to play that higher up the bank to release it in back onto the flag, but tough one to commit to. You see their pace just a little bit too quick. So this hole, just a complete mental error. 126 to the flag, and I thought the wind was kind of down and out the left. Now this hole plays probably 5 to 6 yards downhill, so that adjusts it to 120. All you have to do is cover that front bunker at 107, and if you cover that front bunker, you're good. So realistically, we're now actually looking at like a 107 takeaway 6. We're looking at a 102, 101 golf shot, right? Plus the wind. So actually, you're looking at like a 90, 95 yard golf shot. Which, you know, doing the maths now in my head, it's just taking that process and being really consistent with that outcome of what the yardage is, going through the numbers, checking the wind, everything. And sometimes I feel like maybe just a little bit of rust from me, just not being alert in tournaments. But I played this as a 120 shot and I just flew the green by 30, 40 yards, you know. You just can't make them mistakes if you want to win. So, yeah, schoolboy error. Hole 2, par 4, back up the hill, and just hitting driver over on the left here. Had to shout for. So, second shot. This one annoyed me. I just could not commit to starting it 20 yards left. Really bad shot, and left me a tough bunker shot. I had no swing here on the backswing, so I had to get quite steep, caught it a little bit finny, and left me a long par putt, which I just knew was missing right early. So that second shot there, left to right wind. With the wind being so far out the left, sometimes I struggle to commit to a shot that's actually starting, like, you know, it's so hard to start an 8-iron 25 yards left of target because I just don't think it's going to curve that much. But you know, when the wind is blowing, and like I say, it's a really exposed golf course, you've just got to commit to them targets. And that was a prime example there. I just didn't commit to aiming far enough left. So a couple of mistakes there, and, you know, starting to understand that these mistakes are really easy to fix. It's just a little bit of a mental decision and being a bit more committed on my number, say, or target. So hole number 3, this was my 12th hole, and I hit a wonderful 3-wood here. Just it needed to turn over another 2 yards and it would have been money. You can hear that wind absolutely pumping through the course. And this was a tough bunker shot, really, really tough one. Didn't really want to fly this all the way, but I pretty much had to. It just didn't really release out there for me. And check this one out. Look at that move. Maybe a bit more pace on it, a little bit more committed stroke. Greens were just a very weird speed, just tough to commit to putts. So, par 3, 4th hole, hit 8-iron from 190. That gives you an idea of how windy it was. And a very good chance again from 16 feet. Just lipped out. And an easy par. Never moan at a par. Now, check this ball flight out. Just stepping off that one. Someone talking in the background there I wasn't happy about. Just had to step off, recompose myself. And remember, you're on the Clutch Tour, not playing in the US Open yet. So, long par 4, back into the puff. This was a 15-degree Avoda 3-iron. Check this ball flight out. Wow. So it didn't finish on the green. There was actually an 8-iron before that. And a very good, but oh my god, how did that not drop? Wow. Good par though on that long par 4. You've got to take par. Short par 4 here. Driver, smack bang in the middle of the green to 40 feet. Very good chance for birdie. And even eagle. Just hit a fantastic pace putt here to a foot. And like Scott Fawcett said, stress-free putting is key, you know. So just blocked this driver right, caught it a little bit heely, and left me a really tough chip shot. back down the green. And this one's just kept releasing forever and ever. Fuming. Now, 15 foot for birdie to get to 2 under par for the tournament. Surprised that didn't drop. It was probably going 3 foot past the hole. It wasn't the 1 foot past magic pace that Jamie Donaldson, my putting coach, would want to see. It was a little bit firm. So, yeah, it was a dirty horseshoe. Pretty hard to watch. And, yeah, I'd have loved it to gone in. But, you know, we moved. So, yeah, cheers for that, Ogbourne Downs. Par 3, 8th hole, and this was my 17th. A fantastic 6-iron in there to 14 feet. And just another tentative putt, unfortunately. Like I say, the greens were quick, so you just... yeah, they were a little bit scary at times. Par 5, 9th, I hit the monstrous drive you've ever seen. I left myself 109 into this par 5. Sand wedge to front edge, just did not release on me. And this one here was for a round of 3 under par. Very good speed again, and this one saw me in the clubhouse at 2 under par. So around a 2 under par, and a lot of confidence built again. You know, a big step in the right direction. We've shot 1 over, 1 under, 2 under for our first 3 rounds in tournament golf. You know, a lot of steps in the right direction, and the game is kind of building to where I want it to be. It's not quite there yet, but it's going in the right direction. And that's all I can hope and wish for and keep practicing for, is that we're moving in the right direction, going through that process and understanding what I'm practicing, what I'm working on, going through the right numbers, and just, you know, also analysing, right, you've made a couple of mental errors out there this week based on commitment and maybe yardage, so I'm not going through the process enough while I'm out there. We're now going to work on that. I want to focus on a little bit of committing to my target with driver and just trusting that fade. I've been fading it, you know, all last week, and I hit driver fantastic. And basically, I was just aiming up the left, hitting my shot shape, and I wasn't trying to fight this, like, you know, trying to hit a 5-yard draw. I don't draw driver. I just don't do it. So why am I trying to do it? You know, stand on the first tee and I just peel one straight down the middle. That's a sign that that's your shot. You know, I think if I stand on that first hole and I try and hit a 5-yard draw, aiming down the middle of the fairway, and I fade it out of bounds, you know, if you just aim for your shot pattern, it's a good shot. So certainly something I've noticed with driver, and I'm just going to play with it and hopefully try and keep working on the move. It'll probably neutralise it a little bit, because my move is actually over. That's the bad move. But, you know, if I keep working on the Liam stuff and working on the swing, it should neutralise that driver anyway. So we should still see that little fade, but it'll be a lot less. It won't be a big slash. So, round number 2. Got up ready in the morning, ready to rock and roll. 50-mile-an-hour winds. Round 2 cancelled because of high winds. Such a shame, as I was feeling good. Would have loved to have leaped up that leaderboard. You know, I was at tied 15th, so, you know, you go out there and shoot another good number in the high winds, you know, you probably leapfrog up that board. But yeah, all in all, a very positive golf tournament, and yeah, a big step in the right direction. So yeah, I'm really happy with how the game's feeling and how it's moving. Just need to keep practicing, keep grinding, and hopefully we can try our best next time and we get a little bit higher up that leaderboard. So first paycheck alert, £366. It's red penny night, baby. Next up, we have got Morocco. So I leave on Tuesday next week. I fly out there. We've got a practice round the following day on the Wednesday, and then tournament starts on Thursday. And I've actually got 2 tournaments out there. So, yeah, I'm going to be in Morocco for 12 days, and then, yeah, 2 tournaments. So that should be really, really cool. Should make some unbelievable content out there. And like I say, I appreciate each and every single one of you. All my support, it means the absolute world to me. So I'm going to leave all the guys in the description that are helping me out. And yeah, big shout out to the Clutch Pro Tour for running some superb events. First 2 have been fantastic, and I'm sure the rest of the season will be too. So, that's what I'm going to continue to play in, and hopefully build on these first 2 events and get back to where I want to get to. So, yeah, each and every single one of you, thank you so much for your support. It means the absolute world to me. Even if you're a hater in the comments, I appreciate the comment. Now I feel like I'm in a great place, and I'm very, very blessed to have this platform and outsource this to you all and showcase, hopefully, getting back to where I want to get to. So, yeah, thank you all for the support. See you all for the next one.